Morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ, and here is your detailed weather forecast update for Monday the 11th of August 2025. Heaps to talk about in today's weather forecast update. Rainfall still ongoing for the New South Wales coastline, especially around the Sydney area, with plenty more rainfall still to come today and tomorrow. Showers and a cold front moving through South Australia are expected to arrive into Victoria and Tasmania through tomorrow night. Cold weather still expected across southern half of the nation, and some rainfall expected up into soggy far north Queensland, or dry far north Queensland, expected to turn into soggy far north Queensland shortly. Let's start things off though over in New South Wales this morning. If you are brand new to the channel, please do consider subscribing. But you can see showers still continuing to pile on around New South Wales this morning. Into the Sydney area, they have been relentless over the last 2 weeks or so, in Sydney on its wettest start to August in any year on record. They're now approaching 200 millimetres of rainfall for the first 2 weeks of August. Really significant rainfall accumulation totals, and still more yet to come throughout the course of today. And you can see those showers have just been relentless. And this is what the radar and satellite imagery has looked like pretty much on and off for the past week, and give or take for the past 3 weeks onto the east coast of New South Wales. Just slow moving showery stuff here and there. Sometimes when they do get low pressure systems, these showers do come in a little bit more aggressively, but it has just been that non-stop on and off rainy stuff for the Sydney area and into the Sydney coastline. It looks like though today the rainfall is going to begin to ease off, and if we take a look at the rainfall forecast right now, you can see whilst showers are still expected to be widespread throughout the remainder of today, through tonight and into tomorrow morning, we are going to see a reduction in the severity, the intensity, and how widespread these showers are through the east coast of New South Wales. And in fact, by tomorrow afternoon, it might be starting to dry out for some of these locations. Very good news indeed, and I can imagine that is just making a lot of people so excited already. Through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, not much in the way of rainfall is expected. That continues through Wednesday for much of the New South Wales coastline bar the northeast, and then through Wednesday afternoon and evening, the showers do begin to return in time for a little bit of rainfall coming through for the Hunter region on Thursday, and then creeping up into the northern parts of the New South Wales coastline through Thursday afternoon and into Friday morning, when the showers and storms are expected to ease off once again. So a few showers still expected here and there throughout New South Wales, but for the most part, it is going to dry off, and this week is going to be considerably drier than what we have been looking at in the past 2 weeks or so. And I can demonstrate that quite well right now with the rainfall forecast. With a little bit coming through this week, we're looking at potentially 25 to 50 millimetres of rainfall here and there. But with a couple of dry days embedded, it is going to finally start to dry out through some of these locations along the New South Wales coastline after record-breaking soil moisture values have been observed here and there. Later on into the forecast period, there will be a bit of a return to rainfall between the 16th to the 22nd of August by the looks of things, somewhere out into the Tasman Sea. We've been talking about a low pressure system, or a chance of a low pressure system well out to sea into the Tasman Sea from a low pressure system that's going to move through on about next weekend or so. And it looks like this system is now pretty much set in stone to form right out to sea into the Tasman Sea and be no problem whatsoever for the New South Wales area. And I think we can say with a high degree of certainty right now that whilst a low pressure system is expected into the Tasman Sea or the southern parts of the Coral Sea between the 16th to the 21st or the 22nd of August, as we've been saying for the last couple of weeks, we're not going to be expecting anything close to the New South Wales coastline. And east coast low, we can write that chance off completely, and anything in the way of significant impacts is completely impossible at this point in time for the New South Wales coastline, at least from this low pressure system. So that's a good thing to write off at this point in time, because we weren't looking out for any more rainfall for New South Wales. We do not need any more rainfall for New South Wales, southeast Queensland, or even parts of Victoria and Tasmania. So it's good to see that the rainfall is going to remain well out to sea offshore from the Australian east coast, and it looks like that rainfall is then going to go off towards New Zealand by the looks of things. We are still expecting a low pressure system to come through, so I'm going to give a bit of a comprehensive winter weather outlook now for the southeast corner of the nation, so stick with me here. We've got that low pressure system moving through South Australia this morning. You can see it's packing a bit of a punch, a few showers here and there moving into the Ceduna area, and some stronger wind gusts as well have been reported here and there as well. We're expecting winds to really begin to pick up into the coming few hours across the Eyre Peninsula, and then into the Adelaide area later tonight as these showers and rainfall bands do begin to build there. Moving into the Spencer Gulf and then the Vincent Gulf later on tonight into early tomorrow morning, crossing through Adelaide after about 10 o'clock tonight into early tomorrow morning, and then we're expecting showers and rainfall to move into the western half of Victoria through early tomorrow morning, reaching Melbourne by about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then into the northwest of Tasmania by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Hobart isn't expecting too much in the way of rainfall, but we're still looking at a few good drops here and there, potentially 20 millimetres to the northwest region of Tasmania, and between 5 to 15 millimetres through a wide swathe of coastal South Australia, and then through parts of western Victoria as well. Melbourne looking at up to about 10 millimetres of rainfall. It's just rainfall to keep things ticking over, and in a lot of these drought-stricken communities through South Australia and Victoria, 10 millimetres of rainfall is much better than no rainfall, so they will take that, that's for sure. Then it's going to dry out for a couple of days. You can see Wednesday, a large high pressure ridge builds into the southeast of the nation. They'll keep things cool, calm and collected before that high pressure ridge weakens off through Thursday. And then Friday, we see a passage of another cold front coming through about midday for Adelaide and Melbourne, and then into the early morning hours for Tasmania through Friday, and then reaching into New South Wales through early Saturday morning or late Friday night. And you can see quite a good dump of snowfall is expected here and there from this weather system coming through Friday night into early Saturday morning. We could be looking at up to 25 centimetres of snow above 2,000 metres for parts of New South Wales, and between 15 to 25 centimetres of snow above 1,700 metres for Victoria, and up to 20 centimetres of snow expected for the higher elevations of Tasmania as well. So some really good snowfall accumulations expected through through Friday night into early Saturday morning, and more snow expected throughout the weekend. It's looking like it's going to be another washout across southeastern Australia, with a strong cold front coming up from the southeast that's going to bring damaging winds and some more rainfall and snowfall. 30 millimetres of rainfall and another 20 centimetres of snowfall possible Saturday night into Sunday morning. This weather system looks like it is going to pack a bit more of a punch, and like I said, severe weather warnings are likely to be raised as a result of this weather system. But it is all just good rainfall on the forecast, and you can see 14-day rainfall accumulation outlooks looking healthy for the west coast of Tasmania especially, but also for the southwest coast of Victoria, around Warrnambool and then extending across towards Geelong and Melbourne. Falls between 20 to 50 millimetres are expected to be quite widespread, with isolated falls up to 75 millimetres also a possibility, and 14-day rainfall accumulations between 10 to 25 and approaching 40 millimetres in places across a wide swathe of coastal South Australia, and up to 40 millimetres also possible around the Adelaide area as well. So great rainfall expected across South Australia, and even though this isn't enough to again break the record-breaking drought that a lot of these places are experiencing right now, it is definitely rainfall that they desperately need at this point in time. And the good news is that whilst there is rainfall moving up into New South Wales, again, it's kind of a case on the forecast where we're looking at a good amount of rainfall in these places that really do need it, and rainfall is going to steer clear over the next 2 weeks, especially in the next week onwards, so after about the 17th of August onwards, from places that have had too much rainfall, and that being New South Wales and parts of southeast Queensland. So again, very good news indeed. This rainfall forecast looking very, very healthy indeed. Now, the majority of this snowfall is going to come through this weekend. You can expect some pretty good snowfall accumulations here and there, pushing 15 to 20 centimetres across the higher peaks of Victoria, and pushing closer to 25 centimetres across the higher elevations of New South Wales. Much better accumulations, pushing closer to 50 centimetres expected through Friday, Saturday and Sunday through the higher elevations of Tasmania. Not only is it going to be cold and windy, but it is also going to be very snowy and wet across parts of the higher elevations of Tasmania. So snow expected down to about 300 or 400 metres on Sunday morning, and that snow is going to really begin to build after you get about 1,000 or 1,100 metres up, and we're looking at some pretty significant snowfall dumps across the central highlands of Tasmania this weekend. And they'll do it for a comprehensive winter's weather outlook for the southeast of the nation. Just moving over into the southwest of the nation, it is a cold start across southwestern WA this morning. Lots of temperatures down into the low single digits. Southern Cross at 2 degrees this morning, the coldest spot in the state by the looks of things. A few other cold spots here and there, but not quite as cold around the coastline, as a few showers are still moving through into the lower west region, and that showers activity is expected to continue throughout the remainder of the day, or the chance of showers here and there along the coast is expected to continue throughout the remainder of today. Looking forward onto the forecast models, you can see a few showers still expected here and there through Monday and Tuesday, but it looks like we're going to see Tuesday really dry out and those winds swing around from the north, which will bring a few warmer days and warmer temperatures coming through for the southwest of WA. In fact, temperatures could rise into the early 20s or even the mid-20s for some places out into the wheat belt through Tuesday and also into Wednesday ahead of a cold front that's going to build late Wednesday night, crossing into the coast late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning for the Perth metro area. This one could bring up to 25 millimetres of rainfall, so Wednesday night into Thursday morning will be a wet one. Showers continuing through Thursday, and you can see then showers beginning to ease off later on Thursday as a week high builds, and giving us a few days of dry conditions through Friday and Saturday. And it finally looks like we might get a weekend with a little bit of sunshine. There's no significant cold front or weather system on the forecast be anywhere close to Western Australia this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The next cold front coming through will be a strong one on about Monday or Tuesday, the 18th or 19th of August, but it looks like this weekend we might get a taste of a dry weekend. I honestly cannot remember back to the last time that we had a dry weekend, a completely dry weekend in the southwest of Western Australia. But yeah, heaps of rainfall coming in after the 19th of August. It looks like we are going to enter a brief 3 or 4 day wet period across southwestern WA, and that rainfall sticks around until about the 24th or the 25th of August at this point in time. So it'll be good to see another 100 millimetres of rainfall coming through into the last couple of weeks of August. It definitely looks like that is expected at this point in time, but as you can see on the rainfall forecast, again, some great falls expected across the southwest of WA, including into the Perth area, looking at up to 100 millimetres coming through into the next 14 days, about 25 of that, like I said, coming through Wednesday and Thursday, and the remainder coming through after about the 19th of August, and then good rainfall as well spread out through the hills up to 150 millimetres of this stuff, and we could be looking at falls up to 40 millimetres again Wednesday night, and then the remainder of this coming through in the later part of the forecast period. Great falls also making it down into the wheat belt. It doesn't look like too much rainfall will make it out into the wheat belt though from the weather system coming through Wednesday and Thursday. Widespread falls between 2 to 8 millimetres or so expected through much of the wheat belt. As you get closer towards the western half of the wheat belt into the southwest corner of the wheat belt, falls will rise into the double digits, but I wouldn't expect too much rainfall coming through Wednesday night or Thursday morning into the wheat belt. This weather system coming through is most certainly not going to be a strong one. There will be a brief period of strong wind gusts here and there, but we're not expecting a severe weather warned system at this point in time. It will come close though, it definitely will come close. There will be some strong wind gusts here and there, but this system isn't going to be one that's going to pack too much of a punch by the looks of things at this point in time. But apart from that, across the southern parts of the nation, it is stock standard winters weather. Cool, calm and collected nights followed by a few showers here and there. Cold front still moving through here and there, but this is a very standard winters picture across southern Australia. There's nothing out of the ordinary, nothing to be panicking about, apart from the rainfall over in New South Wales. That really does need to stop before we do start to see some problems up there. Now, I didn't want to be talking about far north Queensland for at least another couple of months or so, but unfortunately we have to. There is some rainfall coming through up in far north Queensland over the next 14 days, and it's not unusual to see rainfall at this time of the year. They can see heavy stuff at any point in the year, but you can see the European forecast going ham with rainfall accumulations up to 165 millimetres possible on the Cassowary coast and up to 120 millimetres possible onto the Daintree rainforest as well. So some significant falls are possible onto the forecast modelling for the Cassowary coast and the Daintree rainforest. They will bypass bigger population centres such as Cairns and Townsville, but there is a little bit of rainfall coming through for far north Queensland, so let's break that down for you right now. Showers moving in from the southeast. That trade flow is really beginning to blow up, and you can see through Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, so tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, expected showers to continue through far north Queensland. They could get heavy at times, and 50 millimetres is most certainly possible through Tuesday, Wednesday and into early Thursday morning. A couple of days of dry weather expected before showers pipe up again by the looks of things around the 20th of August, and it looks like we're going to have a week of wet weather set in for parts of far north Queensland as that trade flow really does ramp up for some of these locations. But yeah, some good rainfall accumulations coming through by the looks of things through Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, and you can see rainfall accumulations approaching 100 millimetres over the next 4 days, and then the majority of the remainder of this rainfall coming through after about the 20th of August, and some better rainfall accumulations are possible out there. Again, it's pretty stock standard even for this time of the year when we are fully in the dry season to see showers moving through up into far north Queensland. The Cassowary coast is the only place in Australia that's classed as a true rainforest, which means it gets rainfall year round, and it can get some heavy rainfall year round, and you can see a few showers moving offshore right now are packing a bit of a punch. There are some heavier falls embedded in these showers here, very typical stuff up in far north Queensland, but we're expecting a southeasterly flow. You can see a few showers here down on the Whitsundays to really begin to enhance into the next couple of days or couple of hours or so, and then get itself up tomorrow afternoon and evening into the Cassowary coast and the Daintree rainforest, and we will see some rainfall begin to build up there. But you can see it's a little bit more of a turbulent picture through the Coral Sea than what we would normally expect for this time of the year. The way I gauge things is looking at the wind observations out to some of these Coral Sea islands through here, and you can see when we start approaching 40 kilometres an hour, especially once we get above 45 or 50 kilometre an hour sustained winds, you know some rainfall is beginning to build out into the Coral Sea, and some more turbulent times are moving through into the Cape York Peninsula, and that is exactly what we're looking at in the coming couple of days. It'll be interesting to see how much rainfall we do see, especially given that we are definitely in their dry season at this point in time, so to see rainfall of this calibre is unusual. It is definitely possible, but it is most certainly on the more unusual side of things. Other forecast models are really calling for some pretty significant falls as well. The ICON and the GFS are all on board with more than 50 millimetres of rainfall, and the Axis convective forecast modelling as well is on board with closing in on about 60 or 70 millimetres of rainfall. So there definitely is some good stuff coming for those up in far north Queensland. And like I said, that rainfall expected to pipe up from tomorrow. A few showers will begin to get themselves going throughout the course of today, but we are really expecting the rainfall to begin to pipe up from tomorrow. So interesting stuff, that's for sure. If you're up in far north Queensland, let me know what the weather feels like up there. I imagine the humidity will be building. Those southeasterly winds will also be beginning to build. And I imagine the temperatures will be beginning to cool just a little bit, a sign of imminent rainfall. So let me know what the conditions are up in your neck of the woods, and let me know how much rainfall you pick up as well. I'll have more information over on the Facebook page for this rainfall here. And I would just like to stress this. I know 60 millimetres up in far north Queensland isn't enough to flood a drain pipe or a gutter. That's really insignificant rainfall for them. So of course no flooding is anticipated, but it is unseasonal rainfall, and at this time of the year when we don't have an awful lot to be talking about out of the ordinary, this sort of stuff definitely makes a cut for some of these video updates. But trust me, in the true wet season, when I know that this sort of rainfall can happen in 30 minutes or so up in far north Queensland, definitely won't be making the cut for the video. So I'm not a clown, I know what I'm talking about. It's just there's not an awful lot else to fill these video updates with. But on that note, that is going to do it for today's forecast update. I do hope you found it enjoyable and informative, and if you have, then please do consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. A special shout out, of course, goes out to the channel sponsors. Their names are on screen right now, and again, they could not run this show without them. The support is, as always, much appreciated. Check out the Facebook page as well. There's a link in the channel description, and there is a whole wealth of content and knowledge over there on the Facebook page. So go and check it out right now. Follow it up, and that is going to be all for me today. I hope you have a great day and a great week, and I'll catch you on the next storm. Goodbye.